The search is now underway for Canada's next Supreme Court justice. Justice Clément Gascon is stepping down in September due to personal reasons. An advisory board led by former PM Kim Campbell has been assembled to find his replacement. So what should they be looking for? Joining us now is the Dean of McGill Law School, Robert Leckie. Canada's constitution requires 3 justices be appointed from Quebec. Since Gascon was one of them, his replacement must also be from Quebec. But in terms of legal experience, what kind of candidates should they be looking for?
You're looking for a generalist. Every kind of case reaches the Supreme Court, so you're looking for someone who's extremely adaptable, who's able to learn quickly and be an excellent performer across the whole broad range of areas.
Now, in terms of demographics, lived experiences, what kind of candidates do you think would elevate the Supreme Court from where it is right now?
I mean, it's a challenge. The Supreme Court of Canada is relatively homogeneous. We've done very well in terms of having women, but there's never been an Indigenous judge. There's never been a racialized judge. And so the Trudeau government is very concerned about matters of diversity. I'm not sure it's going to find a hyper socially diverse pool among the senior Quebec judges. So that could be a challenge for the committee.
Now, the Supreme Court has made decisions on 16 cases so far in 2019. They range from topics that things like the power of certain courts, personal privacy, rights of Indigenous Canadians. What issues do you think will be front and center over the next few decades that this justice will have to face?
Well, there's always going to be constitutional matters as the Canadian Federation continues to evolve, as our understanding of the Canadian Charter plays out. So that's a guarantee. The Supreme Court always has a lot of criminal law as well. And then there'll be other kinds of issues where we sort of sense the gap between our regulation and society's needs. So technology, there'll continue to be things pushing on technology. There will be things pushing on the environment. We already see with the kind of carbon tax fight, there'll be struggles over who's able to intervene in the environment and how. Those are a couple of the kind of obvious areas.
Now, we've seen a lot of the sort of chaos around the appointments of Supreme Court justices in the United States. Do we expect that type of controversy here? Or, as you mentioned, it's a pretty homogeneous justice as it stands right now?
Well, Peter, thankfully, we've never politicized the process as much as our American neighbors have. And so I think there's much less of a sense that once people reach the Canadian Supreme Court that they are, marked in a particular party based on who named them. So I don't think we're going to have that. I think we'll have a discussion. I think there'll be an opportunity perhaps to learn more about the leading candidate. But we're not going to have the sort of struggle you see in the U.S. Senate. And
quickly now, the timing of this, too, with the federal election coming up in October, will that play into this as well?
Well, the Chief Justice of Canada has been told that he will have a new judge in place by September when the court begins its autumn term. So I think the focus here is more on the court starting its next calendar year rather than our election.
All right. Well, Dean of McGill Law School, Robert Leckie, thank you so much for this.